How you guys doing?
Good. How are
Good.
you?
How are you, Steve?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see both of you. First, you guys both did such an excellent job in this. What is it like making the only movie about 2020 in 2020?
A privilege, like it was, I was very excited about making this film, because of all those things, because it really represented a lot of things that not only I was going through, but I felt that other people were going through and the circumstances they were going through. And then there was this kind of, there's obviously the kind of personalized elements of that and the emotion, the anxiety, the uncertainty. And then there was this sort of fantastical element to it as well, which really I felt uplifting, and I felt kind of very hopeful. There was a hopeful side of this film that really impacted me, and I sort of I kind of needed it, in a way. And so I was very happy to go on the journey, and with the hope that other people have that experience as well.
I just felt incredibly grateful. The thing is, when you're a working actor, I'm always aware of the fact that there's a lot of actors who aren't working, and this year that was just more true than ever. So I was even more appreciative that I was a working actor in 2020. It seemed like that I wasn't going to get to say those words. But I just thought, and what that meant to me was it allowed me to put my emotions, and there were a lot of them in this past year, to use, and to give them a purpose and to share them with people. And in the sharing of them, hopefully allowing people a chance to recognize some of themselves in that, in them. And then the ultimate hope that they would feel connection and less alone. So just what Chiwetel said, I think privilege is really the right word.
One of the things I think is fascinating about this movie is that they came up with it in July. You were filming in September. It doesn't make sense how good Steven's script is in that limited time frame, but you guys were making a first draft of a movie without the time to like sort of nickel and dime every word. Can you sort of talk about just jumping into the fire and saying F it?
Well, it helps if you're working with Steve Knight, I think.
Yeah.
Thing, was that just he was like he had like wherever it is coming from, his sort of inspiration, as it flies out of him, and onto the page, it sits, and you feel like these characters are making sense, and actually it's one of those things that as you start to uncover it, you realize they're making really a profound sense. One of the things that I love about this film is that I think that the relationship feels really genuine to me. I really understand why these people are connected and why they are then they're in a sort of shaky situation, and what the potential is for them to figure it out, So, and I think that all of that just sort of poured out of Steve. And I think that in any kind of endeavor like this, the first thing is always the script. And I think he's just a very, very gifted man.
It's funny that there are some scripts that you go in there and you give suggestions, and there's rewrites, and there's this and there's that. This one, Doug and I, one of the first conversations we had was, we really shouldn't change one word. We shouldn't mess with this. This is one of those ones that you just trust. And that became part of the nature of the thing of it, was to not overthink and to just dive in, and I felt that way with all aspects of it. You just had to trust that each choice was the right one. And if it wasn't, if we had time, we would go back and try something else. And but it's really astonishing what Stephen Knight was able to do with that first draft. I mean, the first 90 pages, can you imagine that just arriving in your inbox after having lived through the first 6 months of the pandemic and reading those lines and just saying, I know this isn't me, but God, I know this feeling. It was remarkable.
Sure. As I said, you guys did a great job. Good luck with the rest of your speed dating. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Take care.